listening out there and you heard a lot of intro music right there, I apologize. I was trying to get my act together over here, right, Robin?
Yeah, you're doing a good job.
Actually, what I was trying to do is I was trying to find a picture from the website. We're going to talk about worldwildlife.org, and there's a picture of a beautiful cat. I don't even know what kind of cat that is. That's a pretty cat, though, whatever it is.
It is. I bet it's dangerous.
Yeah, probably don't want to.
I don't want to.
Probably not a kitty cat. Lou Leonard is on the phone. He is the Senior Vice President of Climate Change and Energy for the World Wildlife Fund. The Earth Hour 2018 initiative is what we're talking about, supporting the fight against climate change. Turn off your lights Saturday, March 24th, 2018 at 8:30 p.m. Well, that's my bedtime. I always turn off the lights at 8:30. I got to get up at 3, so that's.
There you go.
You made it easy for me, Lou. Good morning, Lou. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Larry. Thanks for having me. Hi, Robin.
Hi, good morning.
And where are you? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Washington, D.C.
Do you know, we have some beautiful natural areas here in Central Florida, and we went to one of the state parks the other day where they have lots of animals, and I guess they're all rehabilitating or something. The guy who made the speech told us it was like an assisted living facility for animals. And it really does hit you that we live in an amazing world, and if we're not good stewards, it's going to be hard times for everybody.
It's true. I mean, Florida, you're really lucky to live in one of the beautiful places in the world, and I think it when people are connected to that bigger world, I think it helps you feel that sense of, oh, I want to be part of the the movement to protect it, and I want to do my part.
Do you know, as doing a talk show, you get political talk from people who haven't really studied the environment, including me. I have not studied it. I only can tell you what I've heard or read. But my thinking is this. The good news is whether you agree that the world is warming up or not, the actions that are being asked of us make sense as far as cleaning up the world. In other words, everything that you're telling us to do, not you specifically, but everything that we're being told to do to prevent any more global warming is also cleaning up the world. So whether you agree with it or not, at least we're getting a cleaner planet out of it.
I mean, it's absolutely right, and I think that's why you're seeing a real movement where businesses and cities and universities, sort of these very practical, local, grounded parts of our economy, are really moving in this direction, and that's really what's driving the climate movement in America right now. We've got this movement called We Are Still In. It's now up to 2,600 corporate CEOs, mayors, governors, and others. So this is the climate movement. McDonald's just joined yesterday. They announced a target to cut their carbon emissions by a third. So this has become really mainstream, and I think it's because it has benefits related to climate change, but it also has other benefits for our community.
Yeah, absolutely.
Isn't that going to be kind of scary, though, if, like, the major tourist attractions go dark for an hour?
Oh, that'd be cool.
Well, so thank you, Robin, for getting us back to Earth Hour. So this Saturday, 8:30 p.m. local time, I knew I could count on you. Is Earth Hour? The lights are going to go off in not only in these iconic landmarks around the world, but also millions of people participate at home. But it's actually kind of it's an amazing visual experience. It moves like New Year's Eve throughout the world. It starts in Australia. The Sydney Opera House goes dark. The pyramids in Egypt, Big Ben, the Eiffel Tower, Empire State Building, even the Las Vegas Strip participates. But cities also participate. Orlando, Florida is participating. Tallahassee, Surfside. University of Florida, the Miami Tower. So there's lots of ways in which this is also a local thing.
Is Disney World turning off their lights?
I don't know. Why don't we? Can we call them up?
I mean, is everybody gonna have a glow stick or something? How do we?
Yeah.
How do we get?
Protect ourselves from the bad guys.
Yeah. What do we do?
Well, it is only an hour. We know you're going to be sleeping, Larry, so it'll be easy for you. But for regular folks, a lot of times you'll see families do like candlelight dinners. It's a great opportunity to turn off the TV, put down the smartphones, connect with your family, think about what's important, and then think about what the next step is that we can take when the lights come back on. And as individuals and families, the climate problem breaks down into the electricity we use, transport, how we move ourselves around, and food. And there's stuff that we can do in each one of those as families and individuals. Food is a great one to think about. We waste 50% of the food that we buy from the stores in America. That has a big climate impact. All that waste ends up in landfills, and all the energy we needed to create that food goes to waste. But also, of course, it has all these other effects on our world. So there's one that we can really, I think, all agree that we can tackle, and that has a huge effect.
How did you get the powers that be to be on board with your We Are Still In movement?
Well, I think that people realized that that they were already headed in this direction, and they wanted to make sure that the rest of the world knew that the United States was still moving forward on climate action in the places that it really mattered, right? The real economy, business, cities and states. So it really came together with a lot of interest from those that those that make up the leadership of it. So it was we were really pleased that there was as much interest in this.
The actual amount of electricity I use is so small, and I'm guessing I'm unusual in that way because I live alone. I only have one light on at any given time. I'm hardly home. So between it's basically my light bulb, my computer, and my water heater. That's basically all I'm using. And so whenever somebody says you need to cut back on the amount of electricity, I always think, well, I'm kind of one of the low end ones. I don't know how, and as an individual, I could do any more.
Good point.
Except turn off my lights.
Well, right. It sounds like you're, and I think there are people like you that have really, have a relatively low sort of electricity footprint. But I think, in a lot of electricity is actually the number one source of emissions in the United States. So it is the biggest part of the problem. Transport is really close behind, and then food is right there too. So I think if you take those three, that really is the biggest chunks of the problem.
Is it electricity or is it the way we manufacture electricity?
It's the latter. It's the way we manufacture electricity.
So if I had solar cells, I'd be okay.
In the Sunshine States, you should be. I have solar panels on my house, and I haven't paid an electricity bill in 3 years. So
really,
you gotta get that.
We had a lady in here who actually gives electricity back to the electric company. She makes so much. Well, she sells it, I guess, is what it is.
Yeah, so like in the winter when I'm not generating as much, I basically have all this credit on my account from the power I generated over the summer, and that's why I don't pay regardless of the.
Do you know? I'm surprised that electricity is
a pretty good deal.
I'm sorry. I'm surprised that electricity is the big one. Oh, you got another one. But anyway, not cars, huh? So electric cars are just as much a problem as gasoline cars.
Yeah. So you got it right. Electricity badly produced using traditional energy is the biggest source. It's not electricity per se. So by switching to renewables, that cleans the electricity bit up. We don't need to, we don't need to do away with electricity. We just need to generate it better. And then the same thing with cars. We don't need to do away with cars. We just need to power them with clean energy. And electric cars allows you to do that if you're also cleaning up your electric grid.
Nice.
All right.
You're plugging your car into your solar panels.
I have a Times Square cam on my cell phone, so I'm going to make sure. I'm going to look to see if Times Square turned off their lights. Lou, I could hear your publicist asking us to move it on to the next one. Thank you for being on the air with us. Thank you for what you're doing on a bigger scale, and just to ignore all my silly whatever I said. I really am in favor of this. I want to make sure that we leave the world cleaner than we found it. Thank you for doing what you're doing, Lou.
Larry and Robin, I appreciate you having us, and look forward to folks participating on Saturday. Hashtag Earth Hour.
Hashtag Earth Hour. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Lou. All right, we'll be right back.
Thanks.
Experience the thunder of the largest air show in the South as Sun and Fun returns to the skies of Lakeland, April 10th through 15th. This is your chance to see the precision of the